Hey, hello, there we are. Here we are. Well, you're there, I'm here, but we're here together. Happy Monday. Say it with me. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed the weekend, all that good stuff. Are you keeping yourself busy through all of this? And I'm curious too, how's the Christmas shopping going? How is the Christmas shopping going? Wherever you're watching from, do me a favor. I'd love to hear from you. So take time to say hello in the comments wherever you're watching from. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, we'll see the comments here. And I'd like to talk to you and tell me your thoughts about Christmas this year. How are you celebrating the holidays? How's it going to look different for you? And again, happy Monday. Who are we talking to out there? Dom. Hello, Dave and Dave. There you go. Yes, Dave Brown from United Way Sarnia-Lambton will be joining me shortly. And also some other special guests here today as well we'll be talking about. And who else? Oh, hey, Todd. How's it going out there? Nice to see you, Todd, or hear from you. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Yeah, definitely going to look a little different this year. You know, are you tired of the word, the C word, COVID yet? Like, is there a day that goes by that we don't hear about it? I know I don't help here either, right? But it is just become an everyday part of our life, right? So hopefully the holidays gives us some break from that in a roundabout way. It's we've had to change our plans. We normally would get together with family on my side and on Jennifer's side, and we've had to trim that right down. And I guess one of the interesting things is you think, oh, well, that's my brother or that's my sister, and so I should be able to go over there. But if you don't see your brother or sister, like my sister and her husband live in London way, right? And we had that discussion. We said, what are your thoughts on this? And she's like, we live in London and all that. So, and I don't see them all the time. So they're not really in my circle, right? So you got to be careful for sure. Who else is out there going to the comments? See, now I'm wearing glasses. I don't know if you've noticed regularly, I'm wearing glasses more often. And then there's times I'm like, I just want to wear them and just leave them there. But then I look over there and I'm like, okay, well, I can't see. Now I can see Danny Cachamilio saying hello to me. Happy Monday. Jesse's out there. I love it when you guys show up. It makes me happy to know that you're watching. Who else have we got here? Cheryl says, hello, I'm done Christmas shopping. Thank goodness. As for Christmas, it will certainly look much different. Well, there's no question it's going to look different. But tell me, how is it looking different for you as individuals? Or tell me your plans. Share that in the comments as well. And we'll see, right? It's hard to believe, like we're that's a couple weeks, right? Not even. I guess I better get out and do some shopping for Jennifer. I think she's probably just about being done. And then what do the kids are older, right? If you have older kids, what do you do? Gift cards. I don't want any gift cards. I don't want anything. What do I want? I try to figure, somebody asked me, well, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. Turkey sandwich. I don't need anything. I got lots of stuff. I get stuff all year, right? But see, there I go again. I got to do this so I can see who's talking to me. Oh, Barry Loxton's out there. Good afternoon, Barry. Nice to hear from you as well. Okay, Dan, you're going to visit the parents in Sault Ste. Marie for Christmas. Interesting. And that's so, and you'd be taking the kids with you, I'm assuming, right? So all guidelines and all that stuff, I'm sure, but yeah, it's definitely going to look a little bit different. Here's a question for you. Oh, wait a minute. I'll come back to Samantha there in just a second. Here's a question for you. Do you have a favorite pen? Do you guys have a favorite pen? Because I do. and like, this is it right here. Look at that sucker, right? That's a pen and a highlighter all in one. And it went missing on me the other day. And I was getting ready to blame somebody. And I'm looking around for my pen because I got to have, my pen. Do you have a favorite pen? As it turned out, the person I was getting ready to blame, my son, because he I have another system over there, and he likes to steal my mouse when he comes over, and then I go to use it, and of course it's not there anyway. So I went looking for my pen, and I was getting ready to. Turned out it was the old memory. Forgot where I'd put it. Hold on to your favorite pens. It's important to have your favorite pen. Let's go back to the comments once again. Samantha says, I usually go to Eastern and Western Canada for Christmas, see my family, and this year I can't due to COVID. Going to be a sad Christmas. Yeah, it's a bummer for sure, but I think we have to do what we can to, like, are you going to FaceTime family or anything? I know that's what we talked about, having a Zoom or, did you know FaceTime? If you have FaceTime on your iPhone, I think you can have like 25 or 30 people on your FaceTime all at once on iPhone. So do something virtual, right? Having dinner with mom. That's good. That's good. Then it says, oh, the kids are staying back with their mom this year. We rotate. Fair enough, right? But I'm sure you'll see them over the holidays, I'm sure, at some point, right? And then you usually work Christmas, but this year I don't want to. Oh, yeah, okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, everybody's certainly going to be doing a lot of different things, that's for sure. I hope you had a good weekend. What did you do over the weekend? Speaking of being creative, we got out to the Refined Fool Midtown over the weekend. Got together with our friend Rodney James Medwood, of course, who we had here on the show last week. And we did a live performance, or he did a live performance, I should say, down at the Refined Fool Midtown. And I was there to live stream it for him. Nice turnout. All the tables, socially distanced, and everyone was very respectful of the rules, like very respectful of the rules. And Refined Fool, as servers were walking around, they kept an eye on things to make sure that everybody very respectful, which is great to see, right? So it was a good turnout in support of Krista Clark and her family, but great performance by King Bricks. Rodney doing it's King Bricks is a project, and his new song Satellite, hopefully going to be out. We were hoping to play it the other day, but it should be hopefully out this. We don't know the exact date, and it was it was a very great performance, and of course it was a very emotional performance at times as well. Krista Clark was watching, and she was very grateful. And Rodney James Medwood, King Bricks, just fantastic performance. I hadn't seen him perform in quite some time, and I wanted to make sure that I was there so we could live stream this and put it all out there for. We had Rodney's family from Calgary watching. People were watching from over 3,500 views on this video, and still growing. So if you haven't seen it, go on over to my Facebook page, and you'll see the video there as well. Thanks also to Blue Water Border Fest, who let us share that onto their page as well. And you can see there, there's Rodney and myself and our good friend Dan Tidball from DT Freight Express. He also does a lot of sound for festivals. Well, not this year, but over the years has, right? We got together, and over $100,000 has been raised for Krista Clark and her family. And while that is a large number, it's still not quite enough for them. So congratulations to King Bricks with his song, hopefully coming out this week. I know there's a video coming out as well. It'll be available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music as well. It was great to get out for that. All right, Snapshots Photo Booth. I talk about them every week because they're good friends of mine, and I'm really proud of them for taking this on. Snapshots Photo Booth is available in the Lambton Mall, at the Lambton Mall in the Uptown Market. And there's some other local businesses there as well. But you can stop in there and say hello to them and try out Santa's Magic Mirror. This thing talks to you. There's all kinds. Now, of course, it's normally something you can touch, but it's touchless. They operate it. But there's 5 North Pole experiences. And for $16.95, you can have a great North Pole experience. Santa's looking a little different this year as well. And but you can go have your Santa's Magic Mirror experience. Say that 5 times fast. It's only $16.95. And if you go there and tell them that you saw it here on the show, David Burrows said that you'd give me $2 off. They'll probably give you $2 off. Tell them I said so. That's what they're offering anyway. So make sure you get up there and say hello to them. Real cool experience. There's some other great local independent businesses down in the Lambton Mall as part of the Uptown Market as well. And who likes to win? Win with Tourism Sarnia-Lambton and Ontario's Blue Coast. Every time you go out shopping, so when you go down to Snapshots Photo Booth, for example, get a receipt, or wherever you shop in Lambton County, get a receipt for it. And there's locations at Tourism Sarnia-Lambton by the information booth at the Lambton Mall. They're going to be out in Forest and Petrolia as well. We'll be talking to Mark Perrin coming up on Wednesday. We'll have something special for that. Win your shopping spree, up to $200 every day of the week. They're doing this. And at the end, they're having a super large holiday shopping spree. How hard is that? Keep your receipts, put your name and phone number in the back of them, and put them in the ballot boxes that are available around the city, right? And here, we'll put that up on the screen so you know where to find them. All the ballot box locations, Tourism Sarnia-Lambton and Point Edward, Petrolia Town Hall, Petrolia in Lambton Mall, guest services all over the place, right? And you can find out more about where these locations are by going to the Tourism Sarnia-Lambton website. Who doesn't like free money? Like, come on. All you got to do is shop local, and then there you go. You get a chance to win. And if you want to keep your receipts, because I know some people want to keep their receipts for the sake of tax write-offs or gifts, whatever, you're allowed to take a photocopy of it and then put the receipts in the box, or take a picture of it and email it to them at Tourism Sarnia-Lambton. Couldn't get any easier than that, right? So thank you, Tourism Sarnia-Lambton, for doing that. And if you go to their Facebook page, they're announcing the winners daily there. So check that out for sure. Okay, back to the comments one more time here. Who's out there? Danny. Oh, Samantha was there, and it was awesome. Oh, great, Samantha. Glad you were there. And Bethany says, amazing show for sure. Thanks for being a part of it. Yeah, I was glad to be a part of that. It's just important, right? And they had the next day at Bottoms Up, they were having these $20 Caesars with food all attached to them and stuff, and the Caesar too. And we got there, Jason and I, and we couldn't get in. It was already full to their capacity that they're allowed because of COVID. We waited a little bit, but then we had to get going. So a good problem to have. The Caesars that were $20 were donated to Krista Clark and the family as well. So there's more community. And Lenny K, greetings from Germany. Oh, hello, Lenny. How have you been? That's good. And there's Carl. Good afternoon, all the way from Oshawa. And our friend all the way from Petrolia. I have to say it. Mr. Wilson, right? If you're old like me, you'll remember who said that. Nice to see you, MB. All right. Well, going out into the community, we talk about the money thing, and we've got to talk more about it every time. This guy here, Dave Brown, is joining us from afar once again. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing wonderful, thanks, David. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Yeah, that money thing, right? And before we get to that, let's talk. How's your Christmas looking this year? Is it a little different for you, right?
Well, my Christmas is usually quite quiet, which is kind of the way I like it. I like the time off, spend some time with some family and friends, but it's usually quite quiet. My parents, as you probably know, are now living in Sarnia. They've been here now for 9 or 10 years. And my daughter's in London. My son is over on Telford Street. So, we're all close by, and I think I'm looking forward to hosting brunch this year. Normally, it's either Christmas Eve dinner or Christmas Day dinner. But now there's a boyfriend of my daughter's in the mix. So he's got to have his turn. So I'm doing brunch on Christmas morning.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, it's definitely looking a lot different for everybody for sure. And I guess we're all just going to have to do what we have to do, right?
That's right. And it looks like no snow either. So those who are traveling, it looks like might have good travel weather.
Yeah, I've had a couple days where I wish I hadn't had the motorcycle put away yet there, Dave. But yeah, it's time. I know. Well, let's talk about the United Way Sarnia-Lambton. It feels like you were just here a couple of weeks ago. I know we're trying to get you back in here before the holidays, but we're a little behind this year, right?
We are, and you're right. I was just on a couple of weeks ago. In fact, when I got the show notes yesterday, I thought it was a mistake, but sure enough, no, I was lucky to be on the show again this week. Yeah, we've been running, as you know, about $200,000 to $250,000 behind throughout the campaign. Right now, with week 14 of 15 weeks, we're at $1,262,000, which is a little over 67% of our $1.9 million needs target. Mm-hmm. So we've got a little more than a week and a half to go for the end of the campaign, and and another 2.5 weeks to go by the end of the year. So we've got a lot of ground to make up. There's still lots of dollars coming in. But boy, we've got a long ways to go in the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly like everybody else up against something completely different this year. But you've been able to keep it creative though, and still do some pasta, I guess curbside
Right.
pickups, etc. What about the corporate side of things? I know the corporate world, I'll point towards Chemical Valley. They tend to come in there strong. Have we seen anything from that yet, or are we still holding on?
Yeah, we've seen a number of the larger refining and chemical plant employee gifts. There's still a couple big ones to go, but certainly we've got Imperial, most of Suncor, including the Suncor Energy Foundation corporate jet, is in. A little bit more yet to go from Shell. We're still waiting on Nova Chemicals, which has an employee campaign with matching dollars from the corporation,
Okay.
as well as Arlanxio. So there's those two big ones, but the other ones have done pretty good considering, not only the COVID-19 and the inability for me to come out and do presentations at the units and at the work site, unable to distribute brochures and paper pledge cards and whatnot. It's
Mm-hmm.
all been online. So we've been utilizing YouTube and a bunch of new technologies and whatnot. So when you look at that, as well as low oil prices, which affects a lot of the retiree givings, because of course that's the retirement investment. We're actually doing pretty good. I think we're in relatively good shape compared to most United Ways in the province that I've talked to. Clearly we're not giving up yet. We've still got a long ways to go, and as I said, almost 3 weeks to do it. So we're not giving up. And as you know, David, from last year, we made up a lot of ground between that Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
And Canada Helps and other charitable organizations will tell you a significant amount of donations come in the last 2 or 3 days of the year for people to take advantage of those tax credits.
Yeah. Well, we're not done yet, right? So we're still hopeful and positive, and we talk about this great community. We see it all the time in many different ways here.
Right.
Is there anything planned, like any last minute fundraisers that are happening before Christmas, or what do you do to put that final push on?
Well, the one thing that I just found out today was Christos over on Exmouth Street and
Oh yeah.
are having a pizza kit promotion. So any pizza kits that are ordered between now and the end of the week, $5 from those pizza kits go to the United Way. So you can call or email the store and pick them up sometime the week after. So it's a great between Christmas and New Year's project for the family and dinner. So again, that's at Christos. So we're really excited to be a part of that group. You remember back in the summertime, you helped us promote our Top Shelf Canada, the French.
Oh yeah, right.
Now that campaign's over with, but we did raise $10,422 Canada-wide from that event. So we're thrilled. We're grateful to Top Shelf Canada for that. Almost $2,000 of that will come to this United Way, and the remainder goes to some 20 or 25 other United Ways across Canada. So that was very exciting. And you mentioned the lasagna frozen pizzas with our partners, the Dante Club, with financial support from Libro Credit Union, the Lambton Cattlemen's, Earth Fresh Farms, and so many local grocery stores. That brought in over $6,000 to the campaign. So we're thrilled to have that. That's a long-winded answer to say to you, we're still counting the mail. A lot of mail is coming in every day. We had 16 new donors through the mail and through our online system today. So that's continuing. And we've got a number of smaller retail and employment campaigns that are going on. So we still got lots to do, and we're still picking up money wherever we can.
You never slow down there at the United Way, that's for sure. You and your team that you have working together. And I say it almost every time. I'll say it again. Every time you come on here, I get hungry because all your fundraisers, always a lot of them have something to do with food, right? I got to go for dinner now and have lasagna. And then I got to join a gym membership. But good for Christos stepping in there. These are you see a lot of this. I mean, I think we blame COVID a lot. Sometimes we go, oh well, it's bad because of COVID. That certainly had an effect on it. But keep holding on to that. It's not all just COVID, right? There's a lot of different, unemployment, all that sort of stuff that's affecting people, not just locally, but across the province, well, the whole country, right? So, but it's nice to see the creativity that comes out from all of this. And then somebody like Christos comes along unannounced, right? And just says, hey, by the way, we're doing this. Are you seeing more, even though we're a little behind with it all right now, are you seeing a difference in faces that are stepping forward to support the United Way?
Absolutely. Earlier we talked about On the Dot Delivery, who surprised us. They came to us wanting to do that bottle drive, raised over $3,000 on a bottle drive.
Yeah.
And they did literally all the work. All I had to do is talk about it on your show and forward and like the social media posts. They did all that work. We've got, the last I heard, 155 brand new donors that we never had before to the United Way, who gave through the mail and through online. That doesn't count the numerous people who gave at an increased gift this year over last. So absolutely. I mean, David, as well as anybody, that this is a great community, very caring, very independent, and we look after ourselves. And we don't, people are always looking around for that pat on the back. They're just happy to do what they can to help those that just aren't as fortunate. And we just talked about a number of examples right there.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some more examples if we can for the different services. And there's a hello actually from Rebecca. It says, hi, Dave from Opening Doors, right? One of the services that United Way supports?
Absolutely. In fact, the Opening Doors program is provided by both the North Lambton Community Health Center and the West Lambton Community Health Center. And Rebecca will know, it's one of my favorite programs to talk about because it really goes a long way in helping isolation and depression for those people who are vulnerable in our community, both in the city of Sarnia and more rural areas of Lambton, but also promotes other things such as healthy lifestyle, healthy cooking, exercise. All of those programs are done through Rebecca and through her team at the Opening Doors. So it's it's a nice example of something that takes place both in Sarnia and in rural Lambton.
Yeah, well, and I think we tend to forget our rural sometimes. We say Sarnia-Lambton, we hear Sarnia, but there really is a rural area. Doing some other mental health shows here, had that conversation of those areas are some of the difficult ones. Simply transportation alone can be an issue, right?
Absolutely, and United Way saw that a few years ago. And that's why we expanded that Opening Doors program. Previously, it was just Sarnia. Then they came to us and they said, based on the success that we're having here, we see a need, and it may be a greater need in the rural end. So we've funneled an additional $30,000 to Opening Doors to provide that. We also saw an increase in funding for our Meals on Wheels program, strictly for rural Lambton. I mean, we've been providing it for Sarnia in the past. But in rural Lambton, they don't always have access to Uber Eats and On the Dot and DoorDash. So it's even more important that they get the nutrition food that they need and delivered by a volunteer or a staff person who's trained to look for things that might mean maybe there's some problems at home. Maybe they've got some mental health issues, or maybe something else has popped up and they need a little extra hand, particularly with that isolation in the rural area.
Yeah, well, and so far, like you said, the weather's been fine, but then when the weather kicks in, that just adds to more problems as well, right?
That's absolutely, and for transportation.
Yeah, right. What about new services? I know, there was a lot of support for some community fund support for some services that maybe didn't have that support before, and because of COVID, the Canadian government stepped forward in support as well. Where normally United Way raises all their own money. This is really the first time the government stepped in to help. Are you going to see? Do you think are we going to see an increase in services needed because of this year? And is United Way going to be able to offer more services or different services? What's that look like in the future?
We're not 100% sure what that's going to look like. I mean, if we have less money from our campaign, that's going to mean less funding available going forward. So we're going to have to reprioritize and try to identify which areas are most in need. But
Right.
to your point, we funded a number of community programs that were needed long before the pandemic, and they're going to be in need long after the pandemic. All the pandemic has done is has changed some of the needs to more urgency, but also the needs of the agencies to learn how they can do their service delivery in a different way. So we're seeing more counseling through Zoom, for example. We're seeing more food hampers and food packages being delivered to some of the families that may have participated in some of the programs before. So that piece has certainly changed in the service delivery and the volume of service. But we also have those other, before school and after school care, transportation to London hospitals, in fact, and the doctor's appointments in rural Lambton. The need for little boys and girls to have mentoring programs and foot care through the VON and so many, they're still in need. And, we're just changing on how we're able to fund those and how the agencies are able to provide those needs.
Yeah, the needs haven't stopped just because COVID showed up, right? In fact, they maybe become more intense. Well, I think we're on right track there, but let's shout out to everybody one more time. If you want to find out more about the United Way, the unitedway.on.ca. You can find out how you can make donations online and reach out to Dave and his staff with any of your questions. Any final words, as I always like to say before I let you go, Dave?
Just as you can imagine, the final push is on, and we're urging everybody who had planned to make a donation but not yet this year to please do so at the website that you put up on the screen, or call the office at 519-336-5452. We still have a lot of people who like to pop in and make their donations in person. That's always an option too at 1362 Lambton Mall. We're 2 doors down from the Mall Road Library. So I know a lot of your viewers will know exactly where that is. So all the best to you, David, and all of your viewers. I hope you have a great Christmas, and I look forward to being a guest again in 2021.
Yeah, for sure. Dave, same back to you and your family. Enjoy the holidays, my friend.
I will. Thanks.
Dave Brown, our friend, executive director from United Way of Sarnia-Lambton. Always lots of great information. And, we have him back here once a month, and there's a reason for that. It's the importance of the United Way, and we want to make sure that the message keeps getting sent out there. And they are behind. They're only about 65% of their needs target right now, as Dave Brown mentioned. So there's the website on the screen. If you can find even a tiny little bit, or maybe you work at a company somewhere and they have an employee payroll program as well. Find out all the information. Go to unitedway.on.ca and say hello to our friend Dave Brown. And all the best to the rest of the team down there as well. All right, I'll go back to the comments one more time just before I bring my next guest on here. Where is that? We got, Cranbrook, BC is watching today. Thank you so much, Susan, for saying hello. And Rebecca, you're welcome for that shout out. And we got Manitoba joining us here. I said we got people watching from all over, right? So that's a good thing. Well, when you work hard at something, things can finally pay off, and they've been paying off, and finally getting some recognition for my next guest is my friend Jake Cherski from Philly Cheese Jakes. How are you, Jake?
Hey, man. How are you doing? I'm well. How are you?
Did that catch you at a bad time? You're all of a sudden you're famous now, even more than you were before. You're busy now.
I'm less famous. Hang on a second. Hang on. Am I prettier? No, hang on a second.
You got to work hard at that one, Jake. Much
there
better.
We go.
Much
there we
better.
go. Yeah, no, I'm good. No, everything's good. Everything's good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great, buddy.
Awesome.
I almost got in there to see you the other day, and then the phone rang. I had to keep moving, but congratulations to you on your win as Sarnia's favorite restaurant out of 32 other restaurants that were involved. Here's the obvious question. How are you feeling about that?
I'm flattered. I'm just me. And, I don't go to my way to be anybody else. I just kind of do what I do. And I'm just happy that, it's all my family here, not my biological family, but the family that comes in the store and whatnot, our customers, and they're just so they're so loyal, and we just try to have fun with the whole competition and the contest, and I just try to stay on them, and I mean, we were going up against some iconic restaurants, and they serve great food. They've been around forever. They're way busier than me. It's just I was fortunate enough to grab the attention of my of my people here that follow me and whatnot. And you know, we just kind of glued it together at the right time, I guess. So I'm flattered.
Yeah, well, and as you should be, and I'll say it for you. You know, congratulations. You should be. You've worked very hard at it, Jake. A lot of us that have gotten to know you, and of course, I knew you pre-Philly Jakes, you know, and gotten to know you even more through PCJs, and we've had lots of conversations, and you and I have debated and disagreed, and we've agreed, and we've solved the world's problems, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm not in a hurry to eat and run most of the time when I come to Philly Cheesesteaks, because it's the conversation that really, it's, don't get me wrong, the food's good, but it's the conversation really makes the food that much better. Would you say that's a big part of your success?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, like when you walk into my restaurant, it's not a prototypical restaurant. A lady came in the other day. Actually, I was out doing an event, and she came in. So she goes, "Oh, this is Sarnia's favorite restaurant." And she's looking around. She goes, "Yeah," and she wasn't overly
Wasn't impressed.
positive or impressed. And unfortunately, I wasn't here to kind of defend it and to, you know, to talk on some of her whatevers that she wasn't impressed with. But, you know, sitting in one corner, we have a 3-foot high, probably 6x6 cube of donated clothing and donated teddy bears and some hygiene products for the charity drive that we're doing. So when you see that sitting in a restaurant, you're not that impressed. But this is a takeout joint, and we basically have a couple tables just for people if they want to sit here. I'm able to run the Sarnia Imperials out of here, another voluntary position that I've been doing since 2006. I'm able to we raise some money on behalf of the Skits alumni,
Yeah.
or anybody who wanted to buy those hoodies that we did. We raised $2,200, you know, in a short time for that. So we keep trying to give back to the community here. And, you know, I'll be the first to apologize if my little hole in the wall place isn't one of the upper echelon fine dining places. But if you sit down and have a food, don't be shocked that you're not spending less than $20 all in for maybe two of you to eat even.
Right.
And it might be the best meal that you had in the whole week, because we put a lot of heart and passion in here. I just don't let anybody cook here, obviously. I put in 60 to 70 hours a week, and I do that for a reason, and it's for the people. So when they come here, I know for a fact that they're going to get treated with the utmost respect and customer service. A gentleman told me one time, you know, you have to be in the top 3% to be world class, and that's where I consider myself. I consider myself, my customer service is world class, so I'm top 3.
That's awesome, and that's you've had some great philosophies that got you to where you are. Certainly, some obstacles on the way. You know, you and I've talked about those obstacles that pop up here and there. But when you overcome that, and then something like this happens, like you say, you just keep pushing forward. But then 32 other restaurants, and like you say, all 32 amazing restaurants, right? No doubt about it.
Absolutely. Sarnia's got some of the best eats, I think, for such a small community. We each and every one of us that live in this community, you know, whether you be a big chain like you know, the McDonald's and the Harveys and the Burger Kings and Wendy's and those things, or whether you want to be the mom and pop places that aren't generally, you know, just mom and pop, but like, you know, like the Big Fishes and Christos. Some of the people that I went again, Cromwell Grill, have been here forever. Global Donuts. Gus
Yeah.
does so much in the community.
Don't get him
You
right.
know, like he does more than I do. And you know what? And good on him for doing that. But to go up against some of those iconic restaurants that have been here forever and ever, and giving just as much, and if not more, back into the community as everyone does, whether you're a store owner or a business owner or not, like our community gives to one another, and that's why Sarnia is such a special place.
What? How did this all? Let's talk a little bit about #local. And that's kind of the group that put this together. Can you talk a little bit about who they are and how did you get involved in this contest?
Rich Bouchard, he's the gentleman. Him and his group are the people that did the Race to Erase Hunger.
Right.
And just due to COVID, they couldn't do it. So he came up with this idea. He said, we still need to raise money. So what we want to do is we want to have a fun level to how can we raise money, but how can we have fun as a whole community and get the community involved? And so he came up with this idea, and he says, look, I'm only going to ask, a few, and the first people to say yes, that's who we want to go up against, and up against one another. And we're going to do it like like the March Madness type bracket. And let's just have fun with it. So I was one of the first ones, and I said, well, yeah, of course I'm going to go into something like this. This is fun. And he goes, well, that's why I called you first, because he said, I figured you'd be all in anyway without, you're an easy sell that way. And so we just kind of laughed about it. And I said, I'm going to win this. You know that. He goes, yeah, okay. And then once I saw the brackets, once I saw the brackets, I was like, dude, like, this has got to be like, I'm a Cinderella story, because I'm going against like all iconic places. And it's just, there's no way I'm getting out of this. And so he just kind of laughed at me and whatnot. He goes, yeah, just do your thing. So that's what we did. We just kept doing our thing, but that's how we got invited into it. And like I said, we accepted wholeheartedly.
That's well, you would be an obvious choice for something like that, because you're just fun, right? And you like fun, and you like some challenges along the way too. And you got pretty creative along the way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just creativity, even like, with COVID coming through, and it just, everything changed overnight. And, I vowed kind of to myself, there's, a few things that changed within my life in that time frame as well. And I just vowed I wasn't going to go down without a swing. It was like, either I'm going to be like, a good percentage of some of the other restaurants and or businesses that I could just close my doors and say, woe is me, or I can just keep punching noses and breaking through and see what we can do. And I'm a person that, I hate talking about myself this way, but I don't like to see like others go without a whole lot. So when this kind of started amping up and whatnot, and I was approached, I forget who it was now, but someone had approached me and said, hey, Jake, like the hospice they're running rampant, and they can't get the people in there to cook as much because of volunteers. I just said, okay, so I'll see you tomorrow night with the big pot of soup. And that's really how it started. And that's just how I am usually. And, to my fault, I have a hard time saying no. And people walk in all the time into the shop, and they just have different angles on something, or something's happened to, somebody in their family. I just kind of feel bad for them. And I'll say, lunch is on me or supper's on me. And I'm like,
yep, I've seen you do it.
I got to pay my hydro bill. Hang on a sec. Like, but it's just, when you have an avenue that you can give back to the community with the help of the community, because I couldn't give back anything without people coming into Philly Cheese Jakes. And the only thing I can give them is just really, really good food. I can give them a good customer experience. We're not always right here. We've made lots of mistakes in our time, but I think it's how you correct your mistake when you've made that mistake, how you correct it. And that's what sets you apart from other people. We're not just going to say, sorry, it is what it is. We're going to address it. We're going to attack it. And we're going to make sure that you're 100% satisfied, because if you're 100%, that keeps me in the top 97%, which is world class.
Yes, you are. No doubt it there, Jake. And you've been able to establish a lot of relationships over the years. You talked about a few of the restaurants as well, and I'm sure you've had many congratulations from your regulars, like myself and others. Even Danny Cacciamilio's out there. He hopes you wear that hat at when you co-host the Sting games with me, if we ever get back to that, right? Have you had
turkey season?
As long as it's what?
As long as it's turkey season, I will, because if not, that would look dumb.
Yeah. Well, have you? Danny threw me off there. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, have you had any of the other restaurants that you were in competition with? I would say it was friendly competition, but everybody wants to win. Have you had some of the other restaurants reach out to you and say, "Way to go, Jake! Congratulations"?
Alex from Big Fish, actually,
yeah.
he messaged me and just said congratulations, and we were bantering a little bit. I think it was on a comment on a wall,
right?
And I was just trying to pump the tires up to try to get my last votes in to see if we could win. And I don't know if it just if he read it wrong or whatever, but we kind of addressed each other on the wall. And then I messaged him and I said, look, I'm just trying to help the whole project out. Like, I want Rich to get more people to register. So the only way to get them register is to provoke them to vote and just, help the little guy out. And so that's what I did. And he said, no, I understand. And I wish you all the best. And it was great. I need to come in and get a sandwich one day. So that was really cool. I'm not quite sure if anybody else, because it was pretty overwhelming. Like, I'd hate to win $1 million.
A lot of comments, right?
Yeah, I'd hate to win $1 million. Like, holy cow,
You'd hate that, would you?
Well, just everybody be knocking on your door. But
right.
You know what? The community was so supportive, and I just think we had a good marketing campaign. Sure, I might have the title, and believe me, I'm gonna abuse it for a year if I can. It's like Sarnia's favorite restaurant. What do you know about nothing? Like, I'm gonna do what we do here, but it's there's so many better. I'm gonna say better restaurants for different takes and different avenues. But I'll tell you, for the food that you get here at Philly Cheesesteaks, for how fresh it is, for the value, for the price, for the quality, I don't think there's a better restaurant in town, to be honest. I truly believe that, and I'm sure each and every restaurant owner believes that themselves too. And I would wholeheartedly support that because, like I said before, this town's got so many food places here, and they're all great for their own reasons. And I just hopefully everybody thrives at some time and very soon.
Well, congratulations to you once again. Very well deserved, Jake. I'm doing my best to get in there before the holiday season and have another taste of some Philly cheesesteaks. Before I let you go and I move on to my next guest, how are you celebrating the holidays this year for you, and what's next for Philly cheesesteaks?
Stay tuned to what's next, and I celebrating the holiday. I don't know. My mom's in the hospital right now, so.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so if she gets out in time, they're saying that they want her to be isolated for 2 weeks, so not sure.
Gotcha. All right. And one more comment. I think Michelle was out there. She thought that was potatoes on your head there.
No, that's a turkey. Hey, Michelle.
Jake, you're a good man and you're a good friend, and congratulations once again on Sarnia's favorite restaurant. I'll be sure to pop in soon and see you before the holidays.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, Wing. Wherever it is, there it is. Take care. Thank you.
You'll never leave not smiling if you go and visit Jake Cherski down at his restaurant, Philly Cheesesteaks, as he likes to say, 988 Confederation Street. There it is. Head down and say hello to him. And you can also go onto his website, phillycheesesteaks.com, to find out more about him and the hours that they're open. Myself and so happy and excited for Jake. He's worked so hard. And as I said, come through many obstacles there at the restaurant, and to keep things going. It's just awesome to see. Once again, Jake, I can't say enough. Congratulations for you. And and Carl says, Carl from Oshawa says, hope your mom gets well soon. This is a tough time of year for that kind of thing as well. All right. Well, tough time of year, and there's so many people to be thinking about. And my next guest is going to talk about some of those folks and a project that she brought to Sarnia along with her mom. And here is Annabelle Rayson. How are you, Annabelle?
I'm excellent, thank you, and thank you for hosting me on your show.
You're very, very welcome. Have you got all these? Look at all these gifts you've got behind you there.
So I have about 170 shoe boxes behind me, each filled with shampoo, conditioner, soaps, candy, scarves, hats, gloves. Each had about a $50 value, which I will be delivering to the Inn of the Good Shepherd for their hamper drive this Friday afternoon.
Well, very cool. Now, I know we just met recently, and I know some of your family, but we sort of just met the other day. Brian from Shell introduced us there, right? And said, have you heard about the Shoebox Project? And I'm like, Shoebox Project? Like, what's that? No, I hadn't heard about it. So now that I know about it, we got you here. Let's kind of go backwards in time a little bit and tell everybody how this came to Sarnia.
Okay, so I guess it would be 3 years ago now. I was in grade 7 and I was serving as a legislative page at Queen's Park. I was involved with my elementary school's social justice club, and I like to research the MPPs that I was working for, one of which was the Honorable Caroline Mulroney. And I found out that her and her 3 sisters-in-law created this project called Shoebox Project, which is this international charity, which again takes these shoe boxes, and we fill them with gifts, and they give them to women impacted by homelessness and domestic abuse during the holiday season. So I figured, well, I have to ask her about this to see if I could maybe do it with my school and my community. And well, I found her in the hallway one day, and she explained how the charity worked and told me to email the local coordinator once I got back to school. So I guess I would have been in grade 8 by then, and it was about November. And so I'm on the Shoebox website trying to figure out where the coordinator was. And it turns out Sarnia didn't have a Shoebox Project coordinator. So I was kind of walking around the house, kind of bummed out. And my mom was like, well, what's wrong? And I'm like, well, it turns out they don't have a coordinator in Sarnia, so I can't do this with the Social Justice Club. And she was like, well, why don't you apply to be the coordinator? So, well, here I am 3 years later.
And good for you. Like, and sorry, what grade are you in now?
I'm in grade 10.
Grade 10. So this is great to see young folks like yourself taking on projects like that. And why was this important for you to do? Why did you feel like you could have taken on a whole lot of things at a young age where you're busy, your mind's going, what am I going to do? I want to go left, I want to go right, and try to figure what stopped you in your tracks and said, I need to do this?
Well, everyone deserves to be remembered during the holidays. Christmas is a huge thing for my family. We always do celebrate as much as we can. Obviously, we're doing it on a smaller scale this year. And then I guess part of that factor was I was living in Toronto for about 8 weeks, and it was kind of like my first time really seeing homelessness. If my mom and I would be walking around at night and we'd be exploring the city and everything, and I was just absolutely appalled that people have to go through that and they feel isolated and alone. So that sort of hit me at, wait, this is something that I want to do something about, but I don't know what I can do. And once I found this, I thought, perfect. Well, it combines Christmas and helping people on an issue that I'm passionate about. It kind of all the green lights went flashing.
Timing's everything sometimes in life, right? And so I guess maybe being in the right place, the right time, and that aha moment, we like to call it. And you sound very smart, Annabelle. I have to say, just talking to you, you're very intelligent to talk with, and it sounds like you got the right support around you as well. Like you mentioned, Caroline Mulroney. Are you still in contact with her about the project?
So she's not exactly as hands-on as she was.
Right.
But I have, I guess in grade 8, she did invite me up to Queen's Park to visit and talk to her about it once.
Nice.
And we have had email and letter correspondence, which is quite nice.
And what about, and that's great to know that you can at least reach out if you need to, right? Or you've got that support. You say you brought it down from the Toronto area. Do you see this expanding into other cities?
Actually, it has been. This is an international organization. So there's chapters all across individual communities. So it's mainly Canada, United States, and the United Kingdom. And there's chapters all over. So the headquarters is actually in Toronto. But we're actually one of the only chapters out of the whole organization this year that's able to deliver physical shoeboxes this year due to the pandemic.
Right. Now let's talk about, you say you got about 150 there behind you. Are you still looking to collect more? How long does this go on for? Talk to people how they can get involved.
So unfortunately this year, usually in the past 2 years, we've had collection bins at local businesses and organizations where people can drop off shoe boxes, and we've worked with school groups and church organizations as well. However, due to the pandemic, we've had to rely on financial donations from the community as well as local business sponsors such as the Rotary, RBC Investments, TransCanada, Nova Chemicals, Pembina, TransCanada, and of course Shell with Bryant Bird. They're a phenomenal partner with us. In fact, for their, I guess, community outreach program, they not only do they donate to us, but they actually take about 100 boxes and they fill them and they wrap them for us, and then they help us deliver. So unfortunately this year our drive is done. We're just putting the finishing touches. Actually, right before I could join this meeting, I was delivering boxes to the Brain Injury Association. And our final drop-off will be this Friday afternoon to Miles at the end of the Good Shepherd. But if the community is looking to get involved, you can go to the Shoebox Project website and go to locations and select Sarnia, and you can make a financial donation there, which will either be used for next holiday season, or we did do a spring drive last year on International Women's Day, so we may be doing that again this year, depending on logistics. But then again, we hope to be back next year with community or drop-off bins and to be a bit back, more back to normal.
Very good, very good. What about family? You've had some family support in there to help you accomplish what you're doing so far?
Absolutely. So my mom is my co-chair. She didn't come on the video because she doesn't like being on video. But she is the best co-chair I could ask for. She is so incredibly supportive and kind, and she's just like, all right, let's just do it. We got this, which is wonderful. And then my little sister and my grandma and as well also come down. So they'll sometimes help us wrap gifts and presents. And I've had some of my friends have come over too. Last year, unfortunately, they weren't able to this year, and we've all wrapped boxes, which is quite nice.
Let me ask you, I got a few more questions here for you that I think I'm curious about the answers. Do you have any idea the impact that you're having, not just on the people that you are supporting, but do you understand the impact you're having probably on other young folks your age?
I haven't thought about that. I know over the past 3 years, including this year's drive, we've raised over $40,000 for women in our community in need. We usually deliver around between 250 to 300 boxes each year. So this year, I believe we're at 270 boxes. So I know I've actually, one of my favorite stories. I might go on a little tangent here. I hope you don't mind.
Go for it.
After it was about January after our first season of the project, so I would have been still in grade 8, and we delivered to the Lambton Mental Health and Wellness Association, and they had all the women they gave our shoeboxes to sign a card, and one of the comments on the card said, "Thank you for giving me the things I needed," and that lives with me every day now. Mm-hmm. So I'm aware sort of the impact I have on the people we're delivering to, but I really haven't thought about my impact on youth or other people my age.
Yeah. Well, I would say for anybody watching this, our friend Michelle's out there and many others, they're going to be talking and about you and sharing. Have you heard? Have you heard? Because you are having an impact on people. And like I say, I was just, Brian pulled me aside and said, "Have you got time to come down and talk to this young lady about this project and share that?" And I was watching and I was just like, wow, this is an amazing impact in our community. I guess my next question is, what's long-term for Annabelle Rayson? Do you know what you want to be when you grow up, so to speak?
I'm kind of thinking a position as a lawyer, possibly as a Crown attorney, and then entering politics one day maybe, or becoming a judge. That's kind of sort of what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah. You've got time you're allowed to change your mind and keep figuring it out along the way, that's for sure. But I would say you're a very focused young lady, and you're very professional. You're certainly, you got all the information out there. So moving forward now from the Shoebox Project, obviously, after Christmas, what happens with the Shoebox Project next?
So as I mentioned last year for International Women's Day, with the help of RBC Investments, we were able to do a spring drive, which was lovely, to the Inn of the Good Shepherd Lodge. Mm-hmm. So if it's possible and we have the funding to be able to do that this year, I would love to be able to do that. And then we'd just be really preparing for our big Christmas drive again next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving me your time here today, and congratulations on all the success that you've done. I expect that we will see more great things from you, Annabelle, and please keep in touch. You know how to reach out to me now. And if you got anything coming up, I would welcome you to come back and give us an update. And let's try to maybe before Christmas next year, we'll get you on here a little bit sooner, so maybe we can help give you a little bit of push with the Shoebox Project. I always like to give my guests one final chance before I let you go. Anything you want to add that we didn't talk about, or any final thoughts?
No, I just like to thank you for having me on here, and I'd just like to thank all of those in the community, either in the past or for this season, who have been able to help make this possible, to be able to spread a little holiday magic to those in need in our community, to make sure that no woman is left behind.
Annabelle, you are amazing. Keep up the great work, and enjoy the holidays.
Yes, happy holidays. Thank you very much.
Take care. Wow, there is an impactful young lady and an impactful story. These are the great things we like to see, especially not just this time of year, but all throughout the year. But yes, extra at this time of year for sure. And so many people here, Matt, saying, yeah, that's incredible to hear what you do. You're amazing. And it's amazing to hear you bring good vibes with how COVID. Thank you. And keep up what you do. The world needs more people like you, Annabelle. Thank you so much. So impact, right? That's a big part of what is happening there with that story. And I'm so glad that my friend Brian from Shell introduced us there. And I'm sure Mom is watching, pretty proud right now of her young lady. So congratulations again. All right. Well, another great story going to be coming up later on this week when we talk about how you can win some holiday shopping. Yes, I'll be connecting with Mark Perrin coming up a little bit later again this week, and we'll be going out to some of the locations. And I want to say thanks to all of you for stopping by here. And of course, I have to say thank you to all my supporters here on Science SWO and AG Event Graphics, our friends at Active Ears. We're better hearing. See, I can't hear. Maybe I need to go see them again. Better hearing begins with you. Hughes Intelligence Canada, who is security specialist. Joe's Discount Tire. We haven't had a lot of the snow yet, but you better get those snow tires on there. Our dear friends at Oswald's, and of course, Philly Cheese Jake's always been a supporter here. Congratulations to him once again. Thanks to my guest Jake for joining. Dave Brown from United Way Sarnia-Lambton, and of course Annabelle Rayson from the Shoebox Project here in Sarnia. And of course, thanks to all of you. It really is appreciated that you show up and you say hello. I look forward to the next time. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.